Oh yes, now I remember. Into the studio today we were remembering 1961, practicing common 1961 laws, and Mr. Conchord wasn't allowed into the studio today. So we're going to be meeting in an alternative location right behind an interpretive dance studio.
Hi, I'm Ethan Hochstein, and I'd like to introduce you to Garson Conchord, a famed novelist, historian, and mathematician. He has authored the controversial textbook Hell's Angles and directed the documentary On the Glass. He has taken time out of his schedule to meet with us today.
I am very happy to be here.
So Garson, tell us, what exactly is the deal with gender issues in the United States? What's that all about?
First off, I probably should talk about the laws associated with the strife for gender equality. It's a hot topic all over the world, but I'm mainly just going to focus on the U.S. for our conversation. Since the Constitution was created in the late 1700s, its main goal and concept and idea was to create equality for all men. But the thing is that it really didn't factor in women into the equation. Keep in mind, African Americans got the right to vote in 1870. It wasn't until 1920 where women got that same rights. That's 50 years right there. But that was only the beginning for the strife for equality. But it has been an uneven playing field for women since the country's beginning. Women weren't really considered equal at home or at the workplace. But then federal law remedies such as Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 helped protect women and other members of protected classes from workplace discrimination. Title IX helped fight discrimination in the education system. That was put in effect in 1972, and it helped bring women into the post-secondary graduate schools.
So, there's all these new rules and acts and such. Does that really make for perfect gender equality in the United States today?
Not quite. In the time that there were amendments that were ratified, much has changed for the benefit of gender equality. But we still have quite a ways to go before we actually get there. But it's still evident that men dominate parts of American culture. Gender stratification is still part of the culture around the world, especially in the U.S. And of course, gender stratification is uneven and lopsided distribution of power and rights between men and women. A common thing around the world when dealing with this is called patriarchy. And a patriarchy is when the social norms for society is for that male to have dominance over the woman. Even though progress is being made, the U.S. still possesses traits of this. While Eastern cultures still have a bigger and wider gap for the equality, the U.S. is not as tight and uniform as you would think. However, the media might show a different story. In film and television, the male actors are portrayed as strong, skilled, and secure, while women are showed as being the secondary character to the male character, which kind of suggests that the male is in control of the situation.
Wow, that is a very interesting point. I should write that down. Write that down.
Since the progress of equality, more women have entered the workforce over time. Since the 1900s, it has tripled. And the reasons for this include things like the cities becoming larger and overall the size of the family just getting smaller. However, the type of work that women do are still kind of segregated from men. They generally still kind of do like the clerical and administrative and service work, while men kind of do like the physical labor and more corporate jobs and stuff like that. It's still dominated by the male workers still. And it's still not as common for women to carry the higher paying jobs such as the CEOs of big companies, as their male counterparts would have. The discrimination that is known for against women advancing in the workplace is called the glass ceiling. And overall, women make less than men. I believe it's averaged about 77 cents per every dollar, I believe. That just doesn't add up, really. But even with the goal of equality and women entering the workforce, there's still quite old ways that quite never change. As in the old-fashioned ways, women were expected to do the housework while the men went out to make a living. Even with women out making a living for themselves and for their family, they're still expected to do the same amount of housework. So I guess some things just quite never change, but of course there's always room for progress, really. With the rise of feminism, there has been more strong attempts at progress. This group has fought to provide equal rights to women, but that's a whole other story.
Yes.
But to me, it all relates to the concept of cultural relativism, which means if a culture approves an idea, then it's morally permissible. In the beginning of American culture, it was considered ethically right for the men to have power over the women. And through the social reform that's been occurring over the last 150 years, that's slowly been changing. And the social reformers aren't looked down upon as they were in the past. It appears that the U.S. is finally making progress.